C-SPAN Climate Justice Symposium. All told, our 2024 climate justice campaign exceeded 471 million total impressions. KBLA Talk 1580 thanks all of our 2024 climate justice partners: LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, Sierra Club, California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, LA City Council member Curran D. Price Jr., the California Wellness Foundation, MWD, AQMD, and the Port of Los Angeles. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and yours truly, Nina Turner. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Let me go ahead and put Reverend on there. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is today. We also know it is Inauguration Day as well. Dr. King would have been 96 years old had he lived. Today is his day indeed. The doctor's in the house. Dr. West, how you doing today?
My dear sister, it's always a blessing to be here with you. You are an inspiration in a mighty way. And you and I know that we come from Martin Luther King Jr. legacy. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is Black Freedom Struggle Day. It's a day for all those fundamentally committed to truth and justice and love to recognize that no matter how adverse the situation is, we can raise our voices, lift our voices above the very anthem of our people in struggle. And we can straighten our backs up. We don't have to sell out, give up, cave in. And so this is Martin Luther King Jr.'s day, and it happens to be an inauguration in the American Empire. You see, in many ways, that's providential because the lens through which we view that inauguration activity have to be the lens through Martin King and Fannie Lou Hamer, Ella Baker, and so many other, Malcolm and the others. And so, on the one hand, it's something to see his statue in that room. And he was looking over them, and he was saying to himself, my God, this is a sick society. This is a corrupt system. I didn't hear any truth talk about poor people's plight. I didn't hear any truth talk about the ways in which working people would be empowered in a primary way, not an afterthought, as the oligarchs who were there smiling and break dancing in their own distinctive mode, knowing that their profits were going to go up and stock markets were going to go up. And then you looked around for black folk, it looked like the National Hockey League, not too many there. And those who were most visible, I'm thinking of my dear brother, what was his name, Reverend Lorenzo Soul, who got up there and mobilized and used Martin's sacred words that are rooted in an enslaved and Jim Crow people who have been hated and terrorized and traumatized, uses his words as an affirmation of the gangster triumphant. That's Trump. Using Martin's words for the justification of the greed and the indifference to poor people. The indifference. You notice it doesn't say one mumbling word about Palestinians. Even when they prayed, even the rabbi, notice it didn't have any imam, even the rabbis and the Christian ministers, when they prayed, they only talked about Jewish hostages. We care about Jewish hostages, but we also care about Palestinian babies. And if that is the kind of tribalism we saw with Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham. And Martin and Billy Graham had what? They had clashes because they supposedly were praying to the same God. But Billy Graham could not speak out unequivocally against the massive Jim Crow. He did fight to have integrated congregation sometime, but he thought Martin was an extremist. Martin said, yes, I'm an extremist of truth. I'm an extremist of love. I'm an extremist of justice. And so we have to refortify ourselves. We've got to be deeply grounded in what Martin was grounded in. And what was Martin primarily grounded in? An unequivocal love of the people, beginning on the chocolate side and spilling over. So it's a very sad day when you're dealing with this kind of spiritual decay. But there's also a sadness that does not in any way get in the way of our determination, of our strength, of our resilience, and our resistance, to be consistent in our solidarity and commitment to empowering poor and working people here and around the world. Now, at the moment, there's a lot of blitz and glitch, and people are blinded by the success, and the arrogance is out of control, and people are thinking that somehow this is a new golden age. I said, oh, Lord, the gilded age was our lowest moment in American history.
Yes,
That's
it
when
was.
Jim Crow became even more vicious and barbaric. But we just got to be looking at the long term, the big picture. That's the key.
Yeah. Doc, when we come forward, we're going to finish this conversation, all things inauguration plus other things that are surrounding this inauguration that we all need to think about. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
Speaking truth to power and to the powerless. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. To our beloved greater Los Angeles community affected by the devastating wildfires, we stand with you. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, our hearts go out to those who've lost loved ones, homes, businesses, belongings, and precious memories. In these challenging times, we're here to keep you informed and connected. For the latest updates, resources, and ways to help your neighbors in need, stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580. Together, we'll rebuild. Together, we'll recover. Together, we are Los Angeles strong. KBLA Talk 1580. Your voice, your community, your station.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has a program specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to resolve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader, Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their programs. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
To thine own self be true. More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner coming your way right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
We are talking all things inauguration today. Plus, today is the day that as a nation we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And as Dr. West said, the inauguration just happens to fall on MLK Day and not the other way around. So, Doc, those who were able to listen to or watch the inauguration, not sure that everybody did. I want to give some highlights, and we apologize for any technical difficulties we're facing right now. So, some of the highlights of what President Donald J. Trump said, and one of the things he said, Doc, is that he is going to he's going to make Dr. King's dream real. I mean, that's what he said. He said he will make Dr. King's dream come true. So, under that lens, okay, Mr. President, I hope you try that. I really, really do hope that he tries to make the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream come true. Because if that is, in fact, the fact, Dr. West, as you laid out how Dr. King was about unequivocal love for all people, understanding what was happening to those of us on the chocolate side. So let me give a few highlights of what the president had to say today. Manufacturing nation again. He's going to expand American energy. He's even said drill, baby, drill. To quote him exactly, he's going to make us a rich nation again. The auto industry, which is good. If he's going to focus on the American auto industry, good for him. But he talked about that. He lauded the auto workers. He said tariffs and tax against foreign countries. He doesn't want us as citizens of the United States of America to enrich other nations. There's an asterisk on tariffs because once he increases tariffs, that does have an impact on us as Americans in terms of the cost of the things that we buy. So the scale is not quite balanced there, Mr. President, but that's what he said. He said he's going to have a Department of Government Efficiency. Now, you know what, Doc, there are some areas that need to be more efficient. Let's see if he picks the right ones, like the Pentagon budget. But I digress. Let me put that in the parking lot. He says he's going to bring back free speech to all Americans. Okay. No weaponization of political power against political opponents. I'm down with that. I can get down with that. Law and order back to our cities. That is code for law and order. We're places where black and brown people permeate the most. Okay, I want y'all to see through that. Law and order back to our cities. He wants to end the social engineering of race and gender. He wants a colorblind and merit-based society. I'm going to stop right there. There's more, but let's just unpack some of what the president said in part of his speech. And what has really got me the most is he wants to bring back free speech to America, law and order back to our cities, end the social engineering of race and gender, and he wants a colorblind and merit-based society.
Not a word about the homeless or the unhoused. Not a word about any serious anti-poverty program as a priority, not just as an afterthought. America is rich right now. America has been rich for a long time, and you still got 2 out of 5 black children living in poverty because the wealth is at the top. So don't say you're going to make America richer. Then you turn to your oligarchic friends who's sitting there, whose profits are increasing by the second, and yet still got over 60% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. So he's going to have to deliver. I mean, the good thing is that the talking days are supposed to be over at this point. He's got to deliver. And I don't think he can deliver. There's no way that he's going to be able to empower working people in a powerful way because so much of the wealth is still hemorrhaged at the top. And the folk who are closest to him, who paid hundreds of millions of dollars to support him, they're the ones whispering in his ear. Not working people, not trade union people, and got no serious black organizations whispering in his ear whatsoever. But, people say, oh, he's going to surprise us. Well, all right. But believe me, that for him to bring back Martin Luther King's dream has the same chance of me bringing back Gerald Levert and Luther Vandross from the dead.
Doc, are we going to do some rising to Lazarus?
I'm telling you, I serve
Lazarus
a
come
Savior
forth.
who can raise, but not me.
You know what, Dr. West? He said it, right? It's almost to me, I'm listening, I listened to what he had to say, and on the point about he said he will make Dr. King's dream come true. I liken that to all men are created equal and are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So the framers of the Constitution said all these beautiful things. They fighting for their life against King George. No taxation without representation. We not gonna take this anymore. We going, baby. Give me liberty or give me death. Patrick Henry, et cetera, et cetera. So although we have not reached that pinnacle for all people, not even most people, as you laid out, 6% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Inflation is eating up any little advances that working class people may have been able to make. A side hustle is necessary these days. I remember my grandparents or my parents having a side hustle that was truly a side hustle. Now you need about 2 or 3 side hustles in this new gilded age that we're living in. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I think there is a place to hold him accountable for his words. He said it, so let's challenge him to do it.
Absolutely. And that's part of our role. Our role is to make sure that he's accountable, not just him, but all of those around him, not just all of those around him, but those who are following him, because he does have a following. There's no doubt about that. I think that many of them are going to fall off because it's a lot of his rhetoric is sounding brass and tinkling cymbal. But it's going to take a while for them to open their eyes and see. We understand that people are deeply frustrated. When you have such a sick society and corrupt system, people are looking for alternatives and options. And they saw the Democrats couldn't deliver. And so they think now Trump can deliver. He's not going to deliver either. Now, what's going to happen when Trump can't deliver? Well, you're going to have to face the truth. You're going to have to change your system. That's what Martin was talking about. See, Martin said, look, we got to deal with our foreign policy and our imperialism in Vietnam. We killed 2.7 million people in Vietnam and don't want to say a mumbling word. There's blowback for that. You got genocide in Gaza, not a word mentioned. There's blowback for that. You got working people and black folk walking around feeling as if there's no way out other than distractions and addiction. There's going to be blowback for that, you see. So we just have to be prepared to keep fighting and, of course, keep the truth and the justice and the love in it. But recognize that the levels of sickness and corruption cut very deep. Doesn't mean it's not possible to fight them and overcome them, but we just have to be honest about that. And you could see that in the Capitol today. These folk are living in a whole different world. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
And it's not new, Dr. West. I mean, I want the folks who are listening or maybe watching us on YouTube. Some people are in despair, people who, really like real despair. I mean, I found myself in a texting debate with one of my closest friends over the fact that Snoop Dogg and and Nelly and Soldier Boy were performing at a cryptocurrency event that President Donald J. Trump wasn't even at. I mean, I was more disturbed that the cryptocurrency people were sponsoring it, that they were there for the crypto folks, more than I was about, them answering the call of the president of the United States of America. And I found myself going back and forth with her on this, but many people feel the way that she feels. They want to cancel Snoop. They want to cancel Nelly. They want to cancel Soldier Boy. And I'm saying to myself, and also I said on my social media, canceling them for what? Does that get us closer to Medicare for all? Does that get the 1 in every 2 children in the city of Cleveland who live in poverty? Does that get them the subsistence that they need? Does that get us a living wage? Does that do away with the sub-minimum wage? So all I'm saying is that, yeah, you can be outraged, but it's a faux outrage. Outraged about what? What you need to be outraged about is that the Democratic Party allowed this to happen. What you should be outraged about is that you saw at that inauguration the ruling class come together and kiki it up while they got you and me arguing about Snoop Doggy Dogg, and Nelly. It's the wizard, as you were getting to, it's the man behind the curtain. They got us distracted on things that matter not at all. When we should be organizing and mounting up to make the same demands of President Donald J. Trump for the second time that we would have made to a President Harris, or to President Biden, or to President Obama, or to the President Bushes. So I don't know, how you vibing with that? I mean, I'm not mad at Snoop Doggy Dogg, and I got too many other things to be mad about, and that don't even hit my list.
No, Brother Snoop's, his genius is undeniable. I was disappointed in him. I think he was wrong to be there, but that's his choice. I also remember his tribute to Tupac for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was just majestic and sublime. And that's the best of Snoop in public, just like the best of him in the studio. But I could disagree with Snoop and still just keep moving. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. Same is true with Nelly and Soldier. I just disagree with them. I don't think black folk need to be there unless they have their heart in it. I mean, people who are just, have their heart in the fascism didn't show up and break dance for them. But Snoop don't have his heart in the fascism at all. That's not who the brother is. But if he decide to show up, whatever it is, make money, get some visibility. But I ain't got time, a whole lot of time. I just tell him, brother, I disagree with this, man. I think you're wrong, but I'm gonna go back and watch your tribute to Tupac, man. Those words that he said touch my heart in a deep way, and I forever will. So in that sense, I see what you're saying is we got to get our priorities right.
That's right, Dr. West. And we can still love these brothers and be in disagreement. And my larger anxiety over it, you up in arms about that, but you're not up in arms that we didn't get Medicare for all. You're not up in arms that we didn't get a living wage under the 2 years of Democrats controlling everything. You're not up in arms that the George Floyd Policing and Justice Act did not pass. You're not up in arms that the John Lewis Voting Rights Act has not passed. See, there are many things to be up in arms about. This ain't one of them. We can be disappointed in them, but they have agency. You know what I mean? So I'm disappointed. So what? I got to keep going.
That's right.
Ultimately, they have agency and they're not elected to anything. And that ain't the worst thing that they can do. I mean, y'all rocking and rolling with Biden, who crafted the crime bill, who crafted the bankruptcy bill in such a way that you can't discharge your student loans. So get our priorities straight. It is driving me mad. At the same time, I want to have empathy. I'm asking Black Jesus with the sandals on, because that's the one I got the call on, to help me understand why people would put more energy in that outrage, not just disappointment, but total outrage, than they would about the Democrats not getting anything materially done for working class or the everyday people of this country. That's what I'm outraged about. Not Snoop Dogg and Soulja Boy and Nelly who are operating in their agency. See, that's another thing. Is it do as I say do? When does the belief stop? Do people have agency? Do we live in a free nation? Can people make their own decisions? Can they do what they want to do? Now, there may be a consequence to that. Or do you only like them when they move in the way you want them to move? Because this decision to go and perform at the crypto, the crypto banquet is of no consequence. And Trump derangement syndrome, Doc, is not a movement.
Isn't that the truth?
Maybe it's me, and I will concede that it just might be me on this.
No,
but I'm praying that God opens my heart. Black Jesus with the sandals on. That's who I need to open my heart.
I just think you're trying to keep us focused on the larger picture and make sure that we expend our finite energy on those battles that have to do with people's material, concrete situation.
There it is, Doc, because we got a finite amount of time and a finite amount of energy. And speaking of time, when we come forward, Dr. Cornel West and I will continue this conversation about all things inauguration. You are listening to Truth Time on KBLA Talk 1580.
The truth will set you free, but first it might raise your blood pressure.
I'm not driving you, baby.
More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Today, America honors the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. MLK Day became a federal holiday in 1986, but the push began in 1968 after his assassination. Some states initially resisted, even combining it with Confederate celebrations. President Trump is giving his first address as the 47th President of the United States. Trump says he will be signing executive orders that will take action on immigration. They include reinstating his Remain in Mexico policy. Trump is starting his second term in office. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams met with President Trump in Florida, saying he was fighting for New Yorkers. At a Martin Luther King gathering in Harlem one Saturday, Adams claims they did not discuss his corruption case. And today is a fee-free day at national parks in celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That means all National Park Service sites will be free to visit. I'm Amber Payton on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Shop limited time deals during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Valid 1/13 through 1/24 while supplies last.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
After the Lakers lost to the Clippers Sunday night, LeBron appeared to throw some criticism at Lakers management. LeBron said, and I quote, "The way our team is constructed, we have to play close to perfect basketball to win," end quote. The key element in LeBron's quote is the way our team is constructed, which means LeBron does not feel he and Anthony Davis have all the players they need to contend for the NBA championship. The Lakers are 2-4 in their last 6 games. They are 6th in the Western Conference, but only a game and a half ahead of 10th place Phoenix. Kawhi Leonard will not play in the Clippers home game tonight against Chicago. Leonard has been advised to sit out back-to-back games to rest his right knee. He had 19 points in 24 minutes last night against the Lakers. In his last 2 games, the improving Leonard is averaging 21 points and shooting 70%. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like your style, dog.
Okay, so last time I had insurance, I got hit with huge bills every time I saw the doctor.
You got to get a plan with low copays and no deductibles. That's what those big bills are. I got a plan through Covered California. Now it doesn't cost so much to go see a doctor.
Seriously?
Yeah, and they have a bunch of options like that, so you can find one that works for you and your cash flow.
I can swing that.
We all have questions. Covered California has answers and can find a health plan that's right for you. Covered California, this way to health insurance.
Ever have one of those days where your gut just feels blah?
Ugh, yes.
Occasional bloating or gas could be signs that your gut is out of balance, but Align Probiotic can help. Align 24/7 Digestive Support is a daily use probiotic with a unique strain to help relieve occasional digestive issues. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand. So when you feel the signs, it's time to try Align. Align Probiotic. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down. Get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
I'm back. We are so glad that you are here with us today on the national holiday for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King, had he lived, would have been 96 years old. As we know, his birthday is on January the 15th, but every third Monday of January is the time that this country takes to recognize his life and his legacy. Some are doing it for real, Doc, and some people are doing it for play. You will have a lot of those in the elected ministry quoting Dr. King on TikTok, social media. Speaking of TikTok, Doc, we got to talk about how Donald Trump played the Democrats. Let me put that in the parking lot on that TikTok. But on Twitter, Graham, etc., they will be quoting the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but have no clue about who the radical king actually was, have never read the book, Where Do We Go From Here? From chaos, from chaos to community, or community to chaos. Y'all need to read that book, and you need to pick up The Radical King, edited by our one and only Dr. Cornel West. Dr. West, before we get to Immigration Plus, because we're going to talk about some other things too, we received through YouTube a request from Since I'm Here, 1646. And they sent this request on Thursday. And so I'm picking up on it. And this person says, hello, Dr. West and Senator Turner. Can you both talk a little bit about your experience at the ADOS Reparations Conference in New Orleans, October 2024. I think that it is important that you share that experience and let people know that there is an organization that is willing to fight for American descendants of slavery. No better day than MLK Jr. Day for the organization born out of his legacy. Thank you both. And we want to thank you, since I'm here, 1646, for asking us this most important question. Dr. West.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that. I think it's very important to always recognize that the rich tradition of the Black freedom struggle has a number of different streams and strands. There's no one institution, one organization, or one ideology that has a monopoly on the truth. Now, when it comes to the struggle for reparations, that has always been crucial because our movement is an abolitionist movement. We've been trying to abolish and gain access to some kind of control for self-determination. And ADOS is a very important organization that has been quite explicit and consistent in its call for reparations. And that's one of the reasons why I think that reparations is always an integral part of any Black freedom struggle, even though you got internal struggles and internal debates going on within the movement. And so I appreciate that. Who was that? Was that a sister?
I don't know. Their handle is "Since I'm Here."
Okay.
I love it. Since I'm here.
All right. Definitely. But we have to be, we have to acknowledge, of course, that there's a whole lot of different kind of Black folk here and around the world, and we want to be in solidarity with different Black folks struggling in their respective contexts. But ADOS is struggling in this particular U.S. context. We can be in solidarity with those in Haiti and Sudan and Martinique and other places that have been also calling for reparations in their various forms.
In the diaspora, solidarity, but you're right, ADOS is focusing in on Black Americans, descendants of enslaved people. And I just want to big up the leader of that organization, the ADOS Foundation, Dr. Yvette Cornel. She is a genius. That conference in New Orleans was so powerful, Doc. I mean, I know we had over 600 people just physically in the space and thousands of people watching us virtually. The fact that they have a vision for what this would look like is just all inspiring. And I'm just so glad people like you, like me, the great Dr. Kevin Cosby was in the house as well. Yeah. I just got back from Louisville, Kentucky, home of the one and only, the GOAT himself, Muhammad Ali.
Simmons College.
Yes, at Simmons College of Kentucky. The hospitality there, Doc, was just everything, and just loving what that institution is doing under the leadership of Dr. Kevin Cosby, who believes that Black institutions must step up for our people. Can I get a hello somebody on that? Black institutions must step up for Black people. And in Black liberation is the liberation for all folks. I don't want nobody to run from that. And I need people to understand that those of us on the chocolate side are the key to the liberation of everyday people in these United States of America. So Dr. West, President Biden pardoned his entire family. I'm old enough to remember when he criticized President Donald J. Trump on that. See, hypocrisy is a hell of a thing, ain't it, Doc? So he pardoned his entire family. He didn't pardon brother or Congressman, the Honorable Jesse Jackson Jr. He didn't pardon Donziger, the attorney that went after big oil in the Amazon, and on and on. But you know what? He did pause to pardon his entire family.
His whole family. And he got in Marcus Garvey. That was interesting.
Now that was,
But, missing Jesse, missing Brother Mark, missing Mumia. He missed the number. I was glad to see him at least open the door for Brother Leonard. Many of us been struggling for Leonard Peltier for decades now. But yeah, I mean, all of these congressmen getting pardoned. I mean, that's a gangster move. But I mean, the Democratic Party, they have their gangster activity, just like the Republican Party has their gangster activity. Martin Luther King Jr. was never tied to any party. He was tied to a God. He knew that no politician was God. He knew that no party deserves uncritical obedience a blind allegiance. Truth is something that's jagged edged. It cuts in a number of different ways, and you got to focus on the suffering of the people and zero in on their liberation. That's Martin King. That's Fannie Lou Hamer.
But Dr. West, on that point about worshiping a political party, I mean, I feel that. And as someone who served in a caucus, who understands the tactical and strategic movement one may have to make when you in a caucus, I have never been so seduced or unconnected to my moral compass that I would worship a party. And that is what I am finding Black people in particular doing it, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And there is no other demographic that gives the majority or the lion's share of their vote to one party. Black folks do that. And you bet not, to quote my grandmother, bet not, criticize or critique the Democratic Party or any of its leadership. And I know you and Brother Tavis Smiley, y'all went through some stuff as your critique of President Obama aged very well. But at the time that you were critiquing him in a righteous way to get more for everyday people, you had Black folks losing their ever-loving mind. What's wrong with us?
Well, we're just human beings like everybody else. We frustrated and we willing to grab for straws, and we got to tell folk when you got unicorns and you think they real, somebody got to let you know what is true and what is real. The limited options right now in a decadent American empire are such that people willing to grab for straws for anything, to hold on for dear life, you see. And that's what idolatry is. It's the grabbing of straws rather than grabbing for truth, the truth. But it's a spiritual issue too. You see, a lot of people have actually think that they own real strong foundations when it's sinking sand. And the only thing that's going to keep you going is the love of the God that's behind you, the love of your family, and the faith that constitutes wind at your back, and your grandmama's prayer and your granddaddy's smile. That's the only thing in the end that's going to really keep you going. You say that to the oligarchs. You see mosques and all of them worth billions of dollars and so forth, and they still have a certain kind of sense of, dang, you and I have something that they don't have. What is that? Style. What is that? Rich history. What is that? Grounding in love. Take your billions if that's all you got. Now, don't get me wrong, we all need cash. But that's been the history of Black people.
Yeah.
That's why many of us follow Jesus of Nazareth, who died broke of the 10 Commandments on a cross, but emerged with tremendous grace and dignity and power.
Grace, dignity, and power, a type of spirituality that lifts all people. We're not talking about just one religion, but we're talking about a type of energy that lifts all people, the everyday people. When we come forward, Dr. Cornel West and I will continue our conversation about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, the inauguration, plus you are listening to us on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580. 1580.
1 in 3 children born today will get diabetes. This sad prediction by the Centers for Disease Control will come true if millions of Americans don't improve their lifestyles, especially by changing what they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are every day. Every 23 seconds, another American gets diabetes. Stop diabetes before it starts. To learn more, contact the American Diabetes Association or download our free diabetes education programs at learningaboutdiabetes.org.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze Car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up! Oscar!
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Truth Crushed to Earth shall rise again. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Truth Crushed to the Earth will absolutely rise again. That is from the brilliant, quotable, one and only Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As a nation, we recognize his birthday on every third Monday in January. Dr. Cornel West and myself are discussing not only the holiday, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and the fact that the inauguration happens to be on his holiday. I like how Dr. West framed that. We're talking about that and some extra things as well. If you are just tuning in, welcome. If you have missed any part of this show, please download the KBLA app. And also, wherever you get your podcasts, you can go back and listen to any show. And that is indeed a beautiful thing. Big ups to those who have joined us live and have been listening for the entire time. And a special shout out to those who are listening and watching on YouTube. Dr. West, I want to go back into some of what President Donald J. Trump, again, part 2 of what he said during his inauguration speech. I mean, it was all about him. But that's how he rose, that we know that's what we're going to get. So he also went into, so we talked about this colorblind and merit-based society, which we have never been colorblind or merit-based at all, ever in this country. He said there's only 2 genders, male and female, that he will reinstate military members who refuse to take that, take the COVID shot back under the Biden administration, will give them back pay. I'm happy that they're going to get their back pay. I'm rolling with that. He said wars we will end and wars we will never get into. Now, Doc, if the man manages even to do that, I'm going to put that in the plus column. I hope Trump does get some plus column stuff. President Trump. Gonna rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I can see how that's gonna help them 60% of American people who are living paycheck to paycheck. He plans to, he's all up in arms about the Panama Canal deal that was made generations ago. He said that China is taking over the Panama Canal. He aims to take it back. He said we're going to Mars, so that probably has a lot to do with his new best buddy. That dude who owns X. He said that he's bragging about, and then he just went into, Elon Musk, that Mars thing, and then he just went into this whole diatribe about this great nation and how the wilderness was transformed. And I'm thinking as I'm listening, if the hunter always tells the story, the lion's story is never told. What are you talking about? A wilderness? No. Y'all came, Europeans came over here and just took over the land of the Native Americans as they were shipping over our ancestors. But just the way this notion of manifest destiny, and that until the European came and conquered the land, it was wilderness and barren and undirected. I mean, he went all the way there. It was untamed, and how they ended slavery. I beg your pardon. Say what? Oh, no. No. We're going to put a pause right there, President Trump. You need to come on and take some of these Black history courses that y'all don't want folks to take. They ended slavery. Doc, I'm telling you, my head almost exploded.
No. Well, the thing is, I mean, when you have a country that so much of its history is predicated on the efficacy of lies because the truth about itself is just too much to handle and to hold. You're talking about millions of indigenous peoples who were killed. You're talking about ending slavery because 200,000 Black men came off of barbaric plantations to join the Union Army that was losing in order to push the Confederate Army back. So that those truths are just so difficult to embrace. The lies are so easy, and Trump just falls right into the line. But I mean, he's not the only one. He's not the only one. There's been inaugurations of presidents who were slaveholders, who were supporters of Jim Crow, who were Klan sympathizers. And that's the history of the country at its worst. The history of the country at its best, here come Martin King. And there's no Martin without Mahalia Jackson. Mahalia Jackson used to sing in his ear when he was down and out. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory. Hallelujah. Where's that joy come from? We need to have a joy that the Trumps and the American empire and fascism can never take away.
That's it. And on that point, Doc, a joy that Trump and fascism can never take away. When we come forward, we will finish this conversation about the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday and the fact that the inauguration happens to be on Dr. King's Day. You are listening to Truth Time on KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
I'm back. We are so glad that you are here with us. Dr. West, I don't know where the time went. In our remaining 3 minutes of the show, I want to share some Nina notes with our family. So during his monologue, David Chappelle on SNL, Saturday Night Live, he gave a message to President Trump, and he said, remember, whether people voted for you or not, they're counting on you, basically. Whether they like you or not, they are counting on you. Do better next time. That, you know, and that we all should do better next time. So his message was to President Donald J. Trump, but he also said all of us need to do better next time. And he said we must have empathy for people in the Palisades and the people in Palestine. Hello, somebody. David Chappelle laid that thing out. That is what he did. Love him for doing that. So just even in reflecting on David Chappelle's amazing monologue on SNL and how he just laid that thing out. Do better next time. People are counting on you. The world is counting on you, is what he said. Do a good thing. It made me think about a part of one of Dr. King's quote about driving out darkness. And he said, darkness can't drive out darkness, only light can. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can. And so for people who are feeling despondent, I don't want them to despair. Don't despair. Don't be despondent. Like, shake it off. Get over it. Because if you believe that great things can happen, that ordinary people can put a little extra on their ordinary so that extraordinary things can happen, baby, we're going to transform this thing. Dr. Weston, I thank you so much for joining us on Truth Time today on KBLA Talk 1580. Until next time.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Today, America honors the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. MLK Day